This question tests you on your understanding of some fundamental grammatical concepts regarding punctuation. A lot of times when people do these types of grammar problems, they'll be sounding it out with their ears, and that'll work for most of the easy and medium questions, but when you get to some of the trickier questions, you really want to rely on your understanding of as many grammatical rules as possible. That way you'll be a lot more confident and won't be stuck between two answer choices. So for a quick review, here are your punctuation rules for periods and commas, which are what we're dealing with over here. So if you have a period, you're really looking for an independent clause on the left and an independent clause on the right. You're dealing with a comma, and that's one comma. You're dealing with an independent clause on the left side and something like a dependent clause on the right. The converse is also true. And just for a quick review of what independent and dependent really mean, independent just means you have, at the very least, your subject and your verb. So, for example, if I wrote, I am, that's actually a complete sentence right there. It's an independent clause. But if I were to add something like a coordinating or subordinating conjunction, like because, all of a sudden, even though it is longer, a lot of people think that dependent clauses are shorter, but they're actually usually longer. Even though it is longer, you can clearly see that this is a dependent clause because it can't stand on its own. So we're always going to evaluate our answer choices going from capital letter to period. Just taking a look here, I'm seeing some subjects already over here with the archaeologist. I have a subject and a verb, so I'm seeing that this is going to be independent. I'm also seeing a subject and a verb over here. So when I look at my answer choices, I'm going to be looking at C and D as potentially not possible because there could be situations of run-on. So let's check C. Archaeologist Lila recently traveled to Hygge to study its ancient tombs and built into the rocky outcrops of a vast desert. Yes, so if you do just have one comma separating two independent clauses, you are going to have a comma splice. So this one is not going to be correct, and this one is also not going to be correct, simply because you do have independent clauses on both left and right side. Now between these guys, this one adds an additional comma over here. If you do see two commas on the SAT, you want to check to see if the information enclosed between them can be taken out, and then when you read through, the sentence would still make sense. That doesn't seem to be happening here because as soon as you have that period here, you're going to end up with study its ancient tombs, these burial chambers. So in the English language, if you have two nouns standing next to each other, it's going to be an awkward situation. You always want to have something in between those nouns, some kind of punctuation or whatever else. So this one is not going to be correct either. So we're going to cross out B, C, and D, leaving A. So why is A correct? A pops a end stop punctuation mark, a period over here, which means that we can actually stop our sentence here and start our evaluation from here. We're always evaluating from capital letter to period, remember. So over here, our only punctuation mark is just going to be that guy right there. So let's check for dependent, independent. We already know that the right side is going to be independent because we have our subject and our noun, and let's check the left side. So left side says, built into the rocky outcrops of a vast desert. That's your classic modifier, which is just a little phrase that describes the main noun of the sentence, which works.